Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB SHOW. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Starring on the ITV quiz show since 2009, the legal expert has finally opened up about his love life. The Chase's Shaun Wallace has finally spoken on his love life, both delighting and surprising fans of the ITV quiz show. The 65-year-old revealed on the How to Be 60 podcast that he is in a relationship, but he also said he remains completely dedicated to his career. The quizmaster joined Loose Women's Kay Adams and co-host Karen McKenzie for a candid conversation. When talking about his relationship status, Shaun initially revealed, "I suppose I'm married to my career. Put it that way. I like that. I prefer that, and I'm happier." But as the conversation continued, he eventually shared, "Yes, I'm in a relationship." The legal expert has been a staple star on The Chase since the television show began in 2009, and he chose not to divulge any more information about his partner, reported The Mirror. And the quizmaster also confessed that he has never regretted a huge life decision. Shaun admitted he doesn't have children because he didn't think it would be right. He continued, "It was a conscious reason when I was a young struggling barrister. I didn't think it would be right to bring up a child when you're trying to climb to the top of that greasy pole. I've never regretted that decision. I've got 15 godchildren. 2 of them are called Shaun, and I'm the best godfather in the world." The star also spoke warmly of his former partner's child, whom he regards as his daughter. He told Kay and Karen, "I watched her grow into a lovely young lady. She got a first-class honors degree recently, and she got her doctorate the other day, and I was there." Despite having reached what many consider retirement age, Shaun, also known as the Dark Destroyer on The Chase, shows no signs of retreating from his career. He explained his commitment to both his legal and television jobs by stating, "I'm celebrating 40 years in the job this year, and I have no plans to retire at 65. I love it. I love quizzing too, so I will be doing that for as long as I can. I never take being on The Chase for granted. I know it could all end tomorrow, and I still pinch myself that we are celebrating our 15th anniversary this year." Although the professional quizmaster is passionate about his TV commitments, Shaun admitted that competing on the quiz show is much less stressful than his work as a barrister, where he faces very stern judges in the Court of Appeal. He even went so far as to describe working on The Chase as a dawdle in comparison to the high pressures of his career in law. The lights of the studio blazed down like 1,000 spotlights, illuminating Shaun Wallace as he strode toward the iconic Chaser's seat. The crowd, hidden behind cameras and quiet on cue, knew they were watching a legend, the Dark Destroyer, barrister, quiz champion, television icon. But today, Shaun carried something different in his eyes, not just focus, but peace. It had been 6 months since the decision that sent ripples through the world of British television. "I've no regrets," Shaun had said in a live interview that very morning. "Walking away from The Chase was one of the hardest decisions of my life, but the right one." He'd smiled then. Calm, sincere, unapologetic. Flashback, 6 months earlier. The winter chill bit through London's skyline, but Shaun Wallace sat warm inside a cafe overlooking the Thames. The steam from his tea curled upward, dancing in front of the decision he had wrestled with for over a year. Fame had never been his goal. Purpose had. The Chase had been more than a game show for Shaun. It was a stage to challenge minds, celebrate intelligence, and represent. A black barrister from London's Harlesden, he had shattered stereotypes every time he stepped onto that screen. But now, a calling deeper than quiz questions beckoned him: education. "I don't just want to answer questions anymore," he confided to his best friend, Martin. "I want to help others ask them. I want to teach kids who look like me that they can do more than chase dreams. They can catch them." Martin looked at him long and hard. "You know what that means. You'll have to walk away from being the chaser." Shaun stared into his cup. "I know. But I've been answering the world's questions. It's time to help the next generation answer their own." Present day, the final episode. The studio audience didn't know this was Shaun's last show. Not yet. The producers wanted it to be a surprise, a tribute episode. And as Bradley Walsh introduced him, the music swelled, and the screen behind him lit up with decades of moments. Shaun outsmarting contestants, sharing sharp banter, quoting Shakespeare mid-chase, and flashing that ever-dignified smile. Bradley turned to the camera, fighting emotion. "Tonight, We say goodbye to one of the greats, Shaun Wallace, lawyer, chaser, teacher, inspiration. He's stepping away from the show, but not from greatness. The audience gasped. A moment later, a standing ovation erupted like a wave, tears glinting on the faces of crew members who had worked beside him for years. Shaun stepped forward, unflinching. I've loved every second. I'll miss it. But I believe the most important thing you can do with knowledge is share it. And that's what I'm going to do. 3 months later, in the classroom, the graffiti on the outer wall of East Bank Comprehensive still hadn't been painted over, but inside, the energy was changing. Mr. Wallace's classroom was buzzing with curious eyes, eager hands, and laughter that hadn't existed before. Mr. Doe, is it true you beat an Oxford professor on the chase? Shaun chuckled. Yes, Allegia, and I did it while reciting Macbeth. The kids laughed, but their eyes gleamed with admiration. Not because Shaun was famous, but because he believed in them. He taught law, history, current affairs, and sometimes even snuck in a bit of pop culture. More importantly, he taught belief, self-respect, grit. He ran weekend quiz clubs, built mock courtrooms from cardboard and duct tape, and made every student feel like their mind was worth sharpening. Local newspapers ran headlines, from TV titan to classroom hero, Shaun Wallace's new chapter. The chaser now chases change. He was invited back to the chase now and then, special episodes, charity appearances, and always walked back onto that set with a grin, but never with regret. Because the mission had shifted. Back to the interview, live on BBC One. The interviewer, a poised young journalist named Nadira Shah, leaned in. Do you miss the fame, Shaun? Shaun Wallace smiled. I never chased fame. I chased fairness, truth, justice. That's what the courtroom gave me. That's what the chase gave me. And now, the classroom gives me all that and more. So you really have no regrets. He shook his head. Not a single one. The camera zoomed in. The fire behind his calm demeanor told its own story. A man who had conquered public opinion, embraced his roots, and followed his heart. Epilogue. A letter from a student. Dear Mr. Wallace, thank you for being more than a teacher. You're the first person who ever looked at me and saw more than a statistic. You made me believe I could go to law school. I got in. I start next year. Your biggest fan, Amara T. Shaun folded the letter and placed it in his jacket pocket. No applause, no cameras, no spotlight. Just the warm satisfaction that he traded celebrity for legacy, and he wouldn't change a thing. No regrets, not now, not ever.